Hello and welcome to today's video. I am Tammy Coyne, your holistic alchemist, helping you change pain into possibilities and possibilities into purpose. I upload content on holistic healing and personal development on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And on Saturday, you'll find content for the Holistic Pathway podcast, where I have unscripted conversations about mind, body, spirit, and entrepreneurship. Thank you so much for watching. If you're not subscribed, I hope you do, and look forward to seeing you soon. So for today, I have the idea of personal responsibility on my mind. Let's talk about that a little bit. So I was in conversation with someone the other day, and they used the term personal responsibility. And I thought, that's a good term. I like that term. Let's think about that as far as it goes to the holistic path, to holistic healing into personal development. The more I got into holistic healing in this world, this idea of personal responsibility, you can see it everywhere, or the lack of it everywhere. And what I have found is for people on a holistic path in particular, that's where I like to focus. When they begin to learn things about themselves, when they begin to grow, maybe that's they've learned a new way of eating, or maybe they've learned something new on their spiritual path, or whatever it is, they've learned to elevate their life, up level it in some way. They often go into this real strong ego place of thinking they now know better than other people and need to get them to join their bandwagon kind of thing. And I don't think it's intentional. Because what starts out as like, oh my gosh, I found this amazing thing, let me share it with you. And then it sort of becomes this, I hesitate to use the word crusade, but it kind of does. And as an example, let's say someone has decided to become vegan, and vegans get kind of a bad rap sometimes, but let's say someone has decided to become vegan. And so they've learned all the things that they need to learn about becoming vegan. So then it becomes this, if it's an ethical thing for them, or if it's a spiritual thing for them, then they start to see all the things that are wrong with everyone who's not a vegan. That can be a challenge. Let's say you've gone through spiritual awakening, and then all of a sudden you feel like it's your responsibility to wake everyone else up. No, just no. So the personal responsibility on this is stay in your own lane, is focus on what you can do for you. There's a lot of judgment in the world out there about what everyone else should be doing, what everyone else ought to be doing. If they would just do it this way, the world would be a better place. Yes, and that's not our job. So the personal responsibility on your healing path is to focus on you. Focus on you, focus on what you can do, focus on all the things that you need to do for you to heal, to develop, to grow, um, and not making it your mission or your personal responsibility to change everyone else. Because then you really kind of become like everyone else at that point. On this journey, personal responsibility means you always looking out for how you're going to show up in the world, how you can make change within yourself. And the cool thing that happens is when you make change within yourself, and if someone asks you about it and you share from a place of what you've learned rather than a place of what they ought to be doing, it's received so much better. Um, a lot of the people that I've worked with, as they begin to go through their journey, they start to shift and evolve and change, and they don't really even have to tell anyone what they're doing. People will begin to notice, and people may begin to ask you, hey, I've noticed you look like you've lost weight, or you look like you're so peaceful, or I feel so good when I'm around you. What are you doing? Can you share more about your whatever it is you're doing? I want more of that. That feels a whole lot better than you going to someone and saying, oh, this is what I'm doing. Let me tell you all about it because I think it'd be great for you, blah, blah, blah. It starts to feel like a sales pitch. And the holistic path in the spiritual journey, and the personal development journey is all about your personal responsibility for who you are and how you show up in the world. And by people beginning to, because people are always watching when they're ready to watch. The rest of the time, they're in their own thing. They're doing their own thing. They're doing their own world. And the really important piece to remember in this is you don't have the answers for everyone else. You may have insight, you may have learned something, and if someone comes to you and asks for your help, that is a great time to share what you know. The rest of the time, it's being in who you are. It's becoming who you are and then being more of that. Does that help? When we start to notice all the things that people are doing wrong, it is really from a place of judgment and from a place of ego. And oftentimes people are doing the best that they know how to do. That may not be your best. It may not be what you think they ought to be doing or should be doing. When I go back to how important our words are, first of all, take ought and should out of your vocabulary, whether it's about yourself or whether it's about anyone else. And recognize that people are coming from the level of what they know, the level of what they feel inside, the level of their experiences, the level of everything they've walked through, which is going to be different than what you've walked through. Personal responsibility can take so many different avenues. And people often can get really self-righteous about it. We can, all of us. I know as I began to learn and grow and heal, I fell into this trap too. And thinking, oh my gosh, well, I've learned this amazing thing that will change lives. Let me go out and change lives. The truth is, some people don't want to change. The truth is, some people don't give a crap about transformation. One of the things that I do with clients, a couple of clients, past clients come to mind. I was working with someone who we'd been working together for a while, and he came in. He was an older man, in his late 70s, and we'd been working together for a while. And he kept saying all these things that he wanted for his life. And I'm doing my best as his coach to help him achieve those. And one day he said to me, you know, I just got to be honest. I'm not going to do any of this stuff. I said, excellent, great, bravo, you've arrived. And he goes, well, what do you mean? And I said, well, now You're being honest. You're being honest with me and you're being honest with yourself. Now you know you're not ready. You're not ready to do these things. But what you've done is you've owned where you are. Now you can stop spinning around looking for all of these solutions outside of yourself or blaming others, because now you know you're not ready to do the work, and that is okay. I call that a sit in your shit moment. That's when you go, you know what? I know what I got to do, but I'm not doing it. Excellent. As long as you know that, then you can take personal responsibility for the consequences of that. If you're someone who is making changes, own that. Take personal responsibility for that and the consequences that come from that. I have lots and lots of past medical issues, and my body does not process food very well. I have malabsorption. I have all kinds of other things. So someone could look at me and say, well, you just need to go on a diet because I'm carrying extra weight. Well, you just need to do this or do that. And the truth is, they have no idea what I'm doing in my life. They have no idea what my body is going through on the inside. So people take this idea that they always know what's right for someone else. Well, for me, the personal responsibility is, let's say my body does not process sugar very well. It also does not process carbs that convert to sugar very well. I know this about myself, and I know how sick it makes me if I go overboard. Sometimes I still go overboard. So there's no blame. There's no shame. I don't blame myself. I don't shame myself. I don't look at other people to blame. Instead, I take personal responsibility and I go, oh, well, I kind of overshot that one. And I deal with the consequences of feeling very sick for a little while. And then I stop doing those things until the next time when I do the things again. And what I've learned is the personal responsibility for me is no judgment, no judgment for myself. Now, if I start a behavior like that every single day and it's making me sick every single day, then I need to look at what's going on. What's the deeper meaning of what's going on here? But again, from a space of love and judgment, taking responsibility for realizing, okay, I do need to make some changes now. It's really important to my health and overall well-being. And I'm not going to judge myself. I've been through a lot, as with, I'm sure you have. So one of the key things on taking personal responsibility is give yourself a break. Give yourself a break without the judgment, and also give everyone else a break too. People are doing the best that they can with what they have, with what they know, with where they are in the moment. Does that mean all behaviors are okay? It doesn't. Does it mean all behaviors are to be tolerated? It doesn't. It means taking responsibility for what you need. So if you're in let's say an abusive situation as an example, the personal responsibility for you would be to create a plan to safely remove yourself from the situation and go into hiding if necessary. I've been there and I've done that. That is taking the responsibility to know what you've got to do to get yourself safe. In general situations, it's looking at the situation and saying, okay, what can I do here? What can I do? What is my responsibility? So there's also a boundary situation in there of where does your responsibility end and someone else's begins. So that's what's on my mind today. What do you think about this idea about personal responsibility? We could have taken it all sorts of ways. Hopefully, what I've shared may give you some thoughts or some insights or some ways to do things, I don't know, better for yourself. let me know. I'd be interested to know in the comments what you think. And also, if you need some help on your journey, I do offer a free consultation still. I would recommend taking advantage of that if you are wanting some help on your journey. There will be a link in the comments, and take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.